Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Village Board meeting for July 24th, 2019. Acting President Tannhauser, Trustee Budnick, Trustee Kucharski. Here. Ms. Clerk Budnick. Trustee Kucharski. Here. Trustee Larson. Here. Trustee Bielak.
Here.
Trustee Gregorio.
Here.
Trustee Gelsomino. We have a quorum. We're all voting. Would y'all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a motion to install Trustee Ursula Kucharski as President Pro Tem for tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, we're going to call roll. Trustee Kucharski.
Here.
Trustee Larson.
Here.
Trustee Bielak.
Here.
Trustee Gregorio.
Here.
Okay, motion carries. You can, so that was our sub.
Before we get into the comments from the public, I'd like to ask Jackie Gregorio to make an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to talk to the public and telling them that we will be making an announcement regarding Mr. Tannhauser's agenda. However, we will still hear your comments regarding 5235 Cumberland. That's all I have, Mr. President.
And we will have the comments from the public, but this is the portion of the agenda which we have set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the village board and comment upon any matter which pertains to the municipal business of the village of Norridge may do so by filing out a public participant form. All forms will be collected and given to the village clerk. You can be called upon, and then after you have been called upon, state your full name, spelling it out for the village clerk to note in the minutes. State your address and limit your comments to 5 minutes. There is a microphone for your use, and please feel it is needed, but it must remain in the stand.
So we will go ahead and call out those who filled out the participation card first. Would Thomas Kedzie please come up regarding parking on Foster Avenue?
Yeah, my name is Thomas Kedzie, K-E-D-Z-I-E. I live at 8337 Foster. And on 13th and 14th, they have the festival at the Gula Hungarian Church, I believe it is. And all kinds of cars park in the red zoning parking area. They park from the fire plugs. They park surely blocked with driveway aprons. Police have been called in the past years, not for years, and nothing is done about it. The 8300 block is resident-only parking. The 8200 block is not resident-only parking. My main concern is, why are these cars allowed to park in resident-only parking? Why allowed to park in front of fire plugs? It's not just the parking, it's a safety issue. A lot of people drive SUVs, vans, they're big vehicles. You pull your driveway to Foster to the street, you really can't see cross traffic. So I called the police in past years, others have called police, and nothing's done. Rarely is anything done. Rarely. I talked to you about one several years ago, and you got something done that year. You did. 2017. That's my concern. I don't know why the police don't come and issue tickets. I have no idea. That's my question.
We definitely will discuss it with the police and be sure it is done properly.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was simple. Oh, I have one more thing.
Sure.
Sometimes these car haulers park on Foster Avenue, on the north side and south side of Foster Avenue, and unload these vehicles. It is rare, but once or twice a year.
Okay.
Is it possible to get no parking signs installed on the north side of Foster at the Salvation Army Church? Because this, I was last May, I was coming westbound on Foster, and a car hauler was unloading vehicles. And I had to cross partially into the westbound traffic to go around the car hauler. I don't know why they're allowed to do that. If there's no parking sign there, perhaps they would not park there then.
Okay.
This is another safety issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
I'd like a motion to approve and adopt the minutes of the regular board meeting of June 26, 2019, and the minutes of the special meeting of July 2nd, 2019, as presented and published, and that they be made part of a record.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Bill Larson, seconded by Jackie Gregorio. We'll have a roll call.
Trustee Kucharski?
Yes.
Trustee Larson?
Yes.
Trustee Vilas?
Aye.
Trustee Gregorio?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Anybody else with public comment?
Yes, we have a few more ones we're
Okay.
gonna go through. Joanne and Thaddeus Tedrick regarding rezoning of proposed property at 5235 North Cumberland.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joanne, Joanne. My husband Thaddeus, Thaddeus Pedrick, Pederyc.
Is it at 8345 West Farragut?
Can I speak now?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. It's hard to believe my husband, myself, and all our neighbors are here for the third time in 23 years. First, there was a restaurant wanting to be built, dentist's office, now this property at 5235 North Cumberland, corner of Farragut and Cumberland. This property on our little block, 17 single families only, does not belong or should be allowed for several reasons. More flooding, which we have always experienced, parking, which has been a problem for many years due to Chicago residents parking there, due to very minimal backyard space. Buyer at said property indicated that the small, it looks like an archway, or walkway will be used for entertaining and barbecue functions. Nowhere in Norridge, as I drove up and down streets, do you see any such thing, meaning the backyard is going to be in the front. The uniformity of our neighborhood due to all single-family homes only. We all know that what was said at the zoning hearing, such as family members will be occupying the property only and forever, is untrue. Because you can rent it whenever you choose. I've seen it firsthand on a few occasions, and no one follows up. With all this being said, I think I can speak for all my neighbors. We can accept the change that was originally told to the sellers, such as this is going to be a big single-family home. We all agree this was purchased as income property, but told to the seller otherwise. The seller is a neighbor and never would have sold such a low price and having to deal with what we are faced with now. We have all discussed these issues and know our property values will decrease, more difficult to eventually sell our homes, and if this is allowed, the owner who rents out property next door has always rented out for the 23 years we've lived there, who you denied twice, is just dying to put something like this on, and he will. This will also open up all of Norridge to follow suit. Please do not destroy what Norridge stands for and always has been, single-family homes. Change is okay. We can accept that, not this. The owner, as well as Norridge, is losing nothing by him building the single-family home as he promised. Sorry. This has been our home for 23 years. Like many of us, invested in remodeling, renovating to keep it updated, for we would all like to remain here, so please don't take that away. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joe Ballo.
Joe Ballo? Mayo.
Hi, the name is Joe Bayo. I live at 8325 West Farragut. I've been there for about 35 years. Now, last zone board meeting we had, they showed a chart of the complex, the 4-unit complex, and they showed the driveways, and there was only one car in the driveway of those 4 driveways, which was a misconception. that there's only one car. Now, according to the Bureau of National Statistics, the average family has approximately 2 cars per family, which would mean there would be 8 cars there, which would increase the traffic on the street, increase the amount of vehicles. And the last time, I believe, Ms. Gregorio stated some comments on the rules and that it would not change the zoning if it caused a hazard. And I believe that will cause a hazard and a danger of all that traffic along the street. And that's my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kurt and Dan Ortiz.
Ortway.
I'm sorry, Ortiz. Also regarding Farragut and Cumberland.
Hi, so my name's Kurt Ortwig, O-R-T-W-I-G. Live at 8324 West Farragut Avenue in Norridge. We've been residents of Norridge for the better part of 16 years. We bought a piece of property there and did a tear down and built a new house in that street. The rationale for that is that it was an R1 zone street with it. Built a, I think, lovely home with regards to the standards within a single family home within Norridge with it. At this time, if I had the choice to build in Norridge with what's being proposed from an R1 to an R3 at the end of the block, with it, I would move out. It's a lovely community. We've lived on the corner of Wilson and Farragut. Wilson and Orange is our first house that we moved in here to Norridge with it. 3 boys that we've raised in this community with it. So we have family that lives here with it in terms of 3 other family members or 3 other households within Norridge, and have truly enjoyed this community as being a single family home community with it. There are multiple other areas within Norridge that are zoned as multiple dwellings that are currently vacant with it. And if this family or this builder so wants to build a piece of property as a single family or multi-dwelling area and making it an R3 building with regards to it, I just question the validity of the argument that they're making this an apartment complex versus condo, where it would be everyone would be invested in the community itself. There's no ownership for renters. They're transient. And I don't want to live in a community with transient people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Paolo and Antonia Barone, also for rezoning.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of my mother, Antonia Barone, at 8340 West Farragut Avenue. My name is Nick Barone at 7822 West Carmen. We're just against the rezoning. My parents have lived there since 1978. The community's good, so.
My sister lives next door for years already. Then we don't want to change the zone. We don't want to stay the way we are for all this year because a nice neighbor, and nice people, we never have a problem with nobody, never, no one with the other. Then we're lucky to stay the way we are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.